Hello and welcome to Daily Red Devil for all of your latest Manchester United transfer news and talk. Before we get into today's video, please do me a small favour. If you are watching today for the first time, please do subscribe, bottom right hand corner, and be sure to drop a like on today's video. On the show this morning, we're going to be talking about Gyökeres, we're going to be talking about Mbeumo, we're going to be talking about Rashford, we're going to be talking about Sancho, Garnacho, all sorts of good stuff. But, as always, I like to start my shows off by getting you, the Manchester United fan base, engaged with the chat. The question I have for you this morning is in relation to Viktor Gyökeres. We're going to be talking about how apparently he wants Manchester United again. Okay, where's that come from? We're going to be talking about that. And I want to know this. Do you still want Gyökeres at Manchester United? Maybe that's a stupid question, but I want to get your thoughts. There's some people who are like, if he wants Arsenal, I don't want him. I don't want to be seconds. Do you care? Let me know in the comments section. I'm going to kick off the show straight away and answer that question. Obviously, you guys can get in the comments section and let me know your thoughts. I'm going to give you my thoughts on this topic. I don't care whether he wanted Arsenal, realistically. I mean, can you blame him? They have Champions League football. They're in a better position than we are at the moment. They finished second. We finished 15th. I mean, yeah, if I was him, I would choose Arsenal as well. You know, if I wasn't a Man United fan, and I was a footballer at the age of 27, who hasn't really had a big move yet, if you actually think about it. He was at Brighton, then he went to Coventry, then he's at Sporting. This is his big move, you know. This is going to be probably his one big move in his career, realistically. So you'd want to get the best. Both clubs are going to pay the same amount of wages. One of them's in the Champions League and competing for the Premier League. The other is fighting a relegation battle last season. If there's a genuine option to go to either, you probably do go to Arsenal, don't you? At the age of 27. So I don't really hold it against him. I'm not one of those people who's going to sit here saying, oh, if he wants them, then, you know, I don't want him, get rid of it. Like, why? Football isn't the same as it was 20 years ago where, you know, people are loyal to their club. So at the end of the day, the footballers want what's best for their career and where's going to pay the most money. They don't care about what club it is. I mean, Bryan Mbeumo is a bit of an exception. We'll talk about him in a minute. Boyhood Man United fan, dreams of playing for Manchester United, but arguably the only other club that are interested in him are Tottenham. So it's not like, you know, it's not like Man City, Chelsea, Liverpool are all trying to sign him and he's rejected all of them to join Manchester United. You know, he's effectively rejecting Tottenham, who, yes, won a trophy last year, but other than that, let's be honest, is Tottenham really that much of an attractive proposal? Not really. I don't think so anyway. I think Arsenal's definitely more attractive proposal than Tottenham. Although Arsenal haven't won a trophy for 6 years, so maybe you could argue against that. But to answer my question, would I still sign Viktor Gyökeres? Of course I would. I've said for the last month that my priority striker signing would either be Gyökeres or Osimhen. Either or. I'm happy. I don't mind which. I think both players would be absolutely fantastic at Manchester United. I genuinely wouldn't mind if it was either of those two players. I've always said that I thought the Gyökeres deal was maybe potentially more viable just because of the wages and because of the fact that he's played under Ruben Amorim before and he's, you know, obviously lived in England. He played for Coventry, he played for Brighton. So he has Premier League experience, whereas Osimhen obviously doesn't. So it poses a little bit more of a risk, but I would still be equally as happy with Osimhen as the new Manchester United striker. But let's talk about this story then that's come out late last night. I'm going to be honest, right? It's come out from the tabloid newspapers. That's why the headline has a question mark. My headline this morning says, Viktor Gyökeres wants United move again, question mark. Okay, so all of the tabloid newspapers are reporting this morning that apparently Viktor Gyökeres has decided he wants to join Manchester United now. My question is this, does Viktor Gyökeres know about this? Is he aware that that's what he wants now? I mean, I just think some of these stories, I get what they're trying to do. They're trying to sell newspapers. They're trying to, you know, get clicks, all the rest of it. But I don't know. I just look at these stories and think, where have they got this story from? You know, they've literally just pulled it out of nowhere, realistically. So yeah, all the tabloid newspapers this morning are reporting that apparently Viktor Gyökeres has decided he now wants to join Manchester United. Now, is this really that Arsenal have said they're going for Benjamin Sesko? and now suddenly he wants Manchester United. That's option one. Option two is that it's completely made up, which is probably the most likely. And option three is that it's Sporting Lisbon trying to get some bids to come in because nobody's actually bidding. Remember, the pre-season starts on Monday. This coming Monday, pre-season starts. And he hasn't signed for Arsenal. He hasn't signed for Manchester United. He's apparently refusing to go back to training. He's not going to go and train for Sporting Lisbon. They want him out. So this could easily just be the Portuguese media putting out a story saying that he wants Manchester United again to try and get Arsenal to move quicker. Or maybe Arsenal have said they don't want him. Time will tell, but I don't know. I'm not going to get particularly excited about this one at the moment because I don't even see where we'd get the money from right now to pay 62.5 million for Bryan Mbeumo and then pay, is it 60, 70 million for Gyökeres? That would take our summer spending to around 200 million outgoings without having sold anybody for a club that supposedly, in Jim Ratcliffe's own words, would have been bankrupt if he hadn't took over by Christmas. That's what Jim Ratcliffe said in an interview with Gary Neville. He said, if I hadn't taken over Manchester United, by December 2024, they would have been bankrupt and gone out of business. That was his exact words. We're firing all these people. How many members of staff was it? Thousands of members of staff because we can't afford to pay them anymore. But yet we're expected to believe that we have 200 million to buy Gyokeres and Mbeumo and Cunha before we've sold anybody in the first 2-3 weeks of the window. I mean, it's just not believable, is it? So my honest kind of analysis of this situation is Sporting Lisbon haven't got as much interest as they thought they would have, and they hoped that they'd have had a bid by now. They don't have a bid, and now they're kind of sat there scratching their heads. They've got a player who's unhappy, who's got a public media spout going on between his agent and the club saying, they're lying, they said this, he said that. He's effectively now saying, I'm refusing to go back to training, and they're sat there like, well, what the hell do we do now? That's the problem that we find ourselves in. So I'm not going to get too excited about this. Like I said, it is mainly tabloid newspapers reporting this. I don't know. But you can let me know your thoughts. Would you still take Viktor Gyokeres at Manchester United? Does this whole he wants Arsenal thing upset you? Are you somebody who's going to be like, no, I don't want him? If he didn't want Manchester United the first time round, I don't want him. Like, let me know. I'm interested. My brain personally doesn't really work like that. We don't have any good strikers. We need a striker. He scored 54 goals, I think, in all competitions. I don't care whether he wanted Champions League football and Arsenal as his priority. And if they don't want him and we get him, I'm not going to be here like crying about it. Why would I? We need a striker, and if we get him, great. So I'm not bothered, but I've seen some people in the fan base like an absolute meltdown, like, oh, I don't want him, and it's just like, really? But you can let me know. Maybe you disagree. All right, we've got a super chat coming in from Ray. Thank you, Ray. Ray says, to be honest, it does seem like a character you want at United who seems to be fighting his current club. Can people not see the warnings? I think so. I think Ray's saying that he doesn't want him. So he's saying he doesn't seem like a character who you would want at Manchester United, talking about Viktor Gyokeres. He says he seems to be fighting with his current club. Can people not see the warnings? Fair enough. I mean, it's a good point. Good point. I mean, arguably though, Ray, he supposedly had this gentleman's agreement that he could leave this summer for a certain amount of money, and they've gone back on it. So I do get it, but I also get your point as well. I think it is just a one-off though. I think he just wants to leave desperately, and they're blocking the transfer, and that's obviously upset him. Which is, they're not blocking the transfer. They're blocking the transfer at the price that he thought he was allowed to leave for. So, yeah, I do get it. I get what you're saying, but yeah. A couple of people are saying in the chat they don't like how he's acted. Yeah, I mean, the fact of the matter is, we cannot wait. We cannot wait for Gyökeres. We need to get a striker now. That has to be the priority. Sign a striker now and just be done with this whole saga. Because it does feel like a saga, doesn't it? You know, this Bryan Mbeumo thing's been going on for literally weeks. Literally weeks, right? When were we first linked to Bryan Mbeumo? 4 weeks ago? 5 weeks ago? It's ridiculous. All right, let's see what else is going on in the chat. Somebody in the chat says, I don't want him. He's a championship player. Wow. Fair enough. Jin says, Cunha and Mbeumo are pretty much guaranteed to do well. Gyökeres or anyone non-Premier League striker is a gamble. Simple as that, but you take the gamble if the option is keep Rasmus. Yeah, I mean, it's a fair point. You know, Osimhen is a gamble. Gyökeres is a gamble. Hugo Ekitike is a gamble. Any of these players are gambles, you know? Because none of them have played in the league. But you say that, actually. Gyökeres has played in the Premier League before, I think, hasn't he? Did he ever play in the league for Brighton or not? I know he did play for Brighton, didn't he? So, realistically, Gyökeres is probably the least risk. He was at Brighton for 2 seasons. No, longer than that, actually. I don't know if he ever played in the Premier League, though. Does anybody know? Let's have a look. Did Gyökeres ever play in Premier League? I don't know if he did. If anybody knows the answer to this, let me know. I'm having a look on Google. It looks like he never actually played a single game for Brighton. That's weird. So he was at Brighton from 2019 to 2022, right? He was there for 3 years. He never played a single game or got a single goal. Brighton loaned him out to St. Pauli. Then they loaned him out to Coventry. Strange. And that was only like 4 or 5 years ago. So he would have been like 21, 22. But yeah, he never played a game for them, ever. Someone's saying he has 1 Premier League goal. I can't see any. That's so weird. Breaking news says Mendes is Gyökeres' agent now. Yeah. Obviously, he got lots of goals in the Championship, but the point I'm making was he was Brighton's player, wasn't he? He was just being loaned out. Oh, it was a League Cup goal. He was very young. Okay. But, yeah, I mean, in relation to that question, obviously any striker is a gamble. But I think the least risk is probably Gyökeres, purely just from a perspective that he's lived in England. He knows England. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, he never played in the Premier League. That's correct, yes. All right, let's move on from there. You can keep getting your questions and comments in about Gyökeres, and I will read some out in a minute. We're now going to talk about Bryan Mbeumo. So Fabrizio Romano has literally just posted this morning. This was 12 minutes ago. He says Manchester United are now confident that the Mbeumo deal will be done after progress. He says Mbeumo is pushing for his dream move to Manchester United. And there was a story last night saying that apparently Mbeumo's told Brentford that he wants to leave and join Manchester United. So this deal is a matter of when, not if. The deal's probably almost done. I think they're just working out the payment terms. So I imagine we'll probably get a here we go. What day is it today? It is Thursday. Maybe Wednesday. I mean, the new PSR period starts on Tuesday next week. So I imagine it'll probably be Tuesday next week. Yeah, Tuesday next week, I reckon. We might get the here we go before that. But the players are back in Carrington on the 7th of July, which is a week on Monday. So we just have to hope and pray it gets done between now and then. So he's in that first training match. Or training session, sorry, not match. So, yeah, this one will get done. By the looks of things. Fabrizio's pretty much saying that progress has been made. He's told them he wants to leave. He's going to go. He's definitely going to go. So unless something crazy happens at the last minute, with Manchester United getting beaten by Tottenham, which hopefully it doesn't, I would say he'll be a Manchester United player. So we don't need to really worry about that one. Everyone who's just joined the video, if you could do me a small favour, we've got over 700 people watching live right now, which is absolutely amazing. If you could all give the video a like, that would be great. We've only got 100 likes at the moment, so let's get it going. And if you are watching for the first time, I've just dropped the link into the chat to subscribe. We're literally about to hit 43k, guys. So everybody who's watching who isn't subscribed, please do subscribe. Let's get to 43k by the end of today, please. Go and do that right now. But moving on from that, we're going to talk about a goalkeeper. So there's some reports coming out from Portuguese media this morning saying that apparently Porto are asking Manchester United for 50 million euros for Diogo Costa. He says talks are ongoing as the Portuguese keeper is pushing for a Premier League move. I mean, I would love Diogo Costa at Manchester United. I would absolutely love that. Do I think it will happen? Probably not, realistically. I mean, we just said Mbeumo, Gyökeres and Cunha is going to cost you 200 million. And now we're suddenly expecting to pull another 50 million out of from behind the sofa for Diogo Costa. Like, it's just not going to happen. We need Sancho gone, Rashford gone, Garnacho gone, Antony gone. We need those 4 players gone, right? Then maybe we can start talking about goalkeepers. But as it stands at the moment, Rashford nobody wants. Sancho we might get 15 million for if we're lucky. Garnacho, Manchester United have priced at 70 million. No one's going to pay that. Antony probably is the most likely to leave at the moment, but still nothing has, been said about it. And that's kind of it. There's no one else. Onana's not going anywhere. So that's the position we find ourselves in. I see someone in the chat saying that we should give Rasmus Højlund more time. Oh, God. I don't know what to say to that. I would loan out Rasmus. I would agree with that. But if we want Rasmus to be our striker again next season, I mean, it's a no from me, but obviously if that's what you think's a good option, that's obviously up to you. I would loan him out. I would loan out Højlund. I'd give him another year, loan him out somewhere, and yeah, see how he gets on. That would be the most sensible thing in my opinion, because there is a chance that he does improve over the years, and we look back in the future and think, why did we get rid of him? But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, we definitely can't have him as the first choice striker. That's the point. We need like a 26, 27-year-old in their prime, ready to hit the ground running. That's got to be the kind of goal here, right? It has to be. All right, so we spoke about Gyökeres. We spoke about... Who else did we speak about? Mbeumo. I mean, you probably don't care about this, but Manchester United have obviously announced that Viktor Lindelof has left, so Viktor Lindelof is gone. Some of the stuff, I looked on Instagram, and like all these people, like, there was someone in the chat saying that Viktor Lindelof was a great of Manchester United. I was like, oh my God. How have we fallen? But anyway, Viktor Lindelof has left, 100% confirmed. Manchester United have announced he's not signed a new contract. So Viktor Lindelof is no longer a Manchester United player. He was here for 8 years. I think he was always just bang average, to be honest. He wasn't awful. He wasn't amazing. I think he was just an average centre-back. I don't know. I'm not particularly fussed that he's gone, really. I don't think he's really contributed that much the last couple of years. Obviously, he did that goal line clearance, didn't he, against Athletic Bilbao. But other than that, he was on 120 grand a week. He has left the club. So, yeah, all the best to him. I don't have any hard feelings towards Lindelof. He was always available. 30 years of age now, turns 31 in a couple of weeks' time. I'm sure he'll get a good move somewhere. Yeah, so fair play. But Lindelof has officially left. He is gone. What else have we got? Don says, I'm waiting for United to announce that Shaw is left on a free transfer. Mate, you're going to be waiting for another... How long's his contract? Let's have a look. I think he's got like 3 years left on his deal. Oh no, he's got 2 years left. So you've got another 2 years to wait, my friend. If you like, Don, open the calendar on your phone and put in the June the 30th, 2027 in your calendar. That will be the day that he leaves, all right? June the 30th, 2027. So you got a little bit of a wait to go. Unfortunately. As much as I would like Luke Shaw to not be at this club anymore. Yeah, you got another 2 years, mate. You got 2 years and 4 days, so you're going to have to hold on a little bit. All right, I'm going to wrap the video up here, guys. I've spoke about everything I wanted to talk about. I hope everyone has an amazing day. I will be back live tomorrow morning. Obviously, if anything breaks, I will go live. Make sure you drop a like on the video before you leave. Make sure you also subscribe to the channel, please, as well. We're trying to get to 43k by the end of today, so go and do that. And yeah, thank you very much, and I'll speak to you all tomorrow. Bye for now.